We have the homosexual neocon Milo Yiannopoulos, who's a personality who has been going around trying to effectively steer this so-called alt-right milieu and bring it under the wing of Zionism, just as the neocons have done to regular so-called conservatism. They use the tactic of entryism, where they would send their agents in there, have them start pushing issues that they want to see focused on. And that's exactly what people like Yiannopoulos are doing. They are putting out disinformation to the public, ignoring the true cause of the world's issues, and giving us the fake boogeyman narrative that Islam is the overdog in the world that is like on the rise, and that the Western governments, the problem with Western governments according to Yiannopoulos is that they're coddling Islam. According to this guy, they're pandering to Islam. This is the same West, mind you, that has spent the past 16 years invading one Muslim majority country after the next, bombing them to oblivion, conducting drone campaigns, assassinating people all over the Arab Muslim world, propping up Israel for the past 60 years. This is the anti-Muslim, this is the pro-Muslim policy that Yiannopoulos is talking about. This is the coddling, the pandering to that part of the world. I mean, what is he talking about? The policy of Western powers is specifically to attack and undermine and divide and ruin Islamic societies, not to pander to them. And then on that issue of mass immigration, again, it's just another tactic of the Zionists, bringing these people in, causing destabilization, and then shipping the refugees into Europe so that they can further exacerbate tensions between Westerners and Arab Muslims, so that the Jews and Zionists and Israel can become the ultimate victors of this situation. Yiannopoulos makes it clear where he stands on that issue. Listen to this.
And America needs to face up to this problem. The left is not going to be honest about what's happening. And I'm going to wrap up by just saying, after the Second World War, when Jews saw what had happened to them in the Holocaust, and they saw the number of other Jews who had said nothing, who had done nothing, when that particular minority was targeted by a different ugly ideology. After the Second World War, they said never again. The creation of the State of Israel, whatever your political views, however you feel about Palestine versus Israel, the pugnaciousness, the determination and the effectiveness of the IDF, of the Israeli military forces, the fact that it is one of the most effective and brilliant armies in the world, one of the most efficient fighting forces in the world, is the result of what happened in the Second World War. My hope after today, after the ugly and disgusting thing that happened here...
So we see him praising the terrorist state of Israel, the mass murdering IDF, as pugnacious and brilliant. The way that they kill babies and use white phosphorus and murder innocent people on a routine basis, stage false flag attacks that they blame on Palestinians so they can justify invading and stealing their land and building settlements and squeezing them off their what little land they have left. This is brilliant, according to Milo Yiannopoulos, this neocon faker who's spreading all kinds of nonsense narratives to portray Islam as the dominant force in the world and not the real controllers behind the scenes of all Western powers, and that's Zionism. In fact, he did admit that in one interview, tongue-in-cheek. Here's what he said.
One of the other... We do run everything. Facts can't be racist, you know? Jews do, like, are vastly overrepresented in the media, vastly overrepresented in banking, but nobody...
So he admits that Jews dominate the media and banking in the Western world, yet at the same time he's not concerned about this. He doesn't say this in a negative way. He's speaking of it as if Jews are just brilliant people, and they deserve to rule over these things. And at the same time, he's the editor of Breitbart, which is a kosher conservative quasi neocon outlet that's attempting lately to steer this infiltrated group called the alt-right and bring it into the fold of Zionist disinformation. Make the focus on Islam, on Muslims, whip up any possible controversy about Islam to keep this war on terror going, Netanyahu's war on terror, to ignore the actual policies of Western governments, to put out utter baloney that Obama is a secret Muslim, that Hillary Clinton is pro-Muslim, and all this garbage. This is pure bullshit. The fact is that Obama and Hillary, they are continuing the policies of the Oded plan in the Middle East. They destroyed Libya. They want to invade Iran, well, at least Hillary does. They've continued supporting Israel, and in fact increasing support to Israel. If they were truly pro-Muslim, they would not be doing those things. The only so-called Muslims that they support are the royal families in the Gulf area, because they're such compliant stooges of Western powers and of Israel. Those Gulf dictatorships are sellouts. They're what you'd call house Arabs and Muslims that have sold their people out for money. And those are the only Muslims and Arabs in the world that are basically not on the hit list, right? They weren't on that 7 countries in 5 years Neocon hit list that was written up after 9/11. So the only evidence they have of so-called supporting Muslims from Hillary and Obama is these puppet regimes that work with the West. But if you're not a puppet regime in the Muslim world, you're invaded and destroyed. If you're fighting Israel and you are focusing on the true enemy in the Middle East, such as Hamas is doing, such as what Iran is doing, such as what Hezbollah is doing in Lebanon, you are targeted, you are attacked. The fact is that ISIS is a tool of the US and of Israel, and it is being used to destroy Syria. And the fact is that ISIS has not once attacked Israel, because Israel and the Saudis, puppets, and the Americans control ISIS. They created it and control it. It does what they want it to do. So that's why you see ISIS never confronting Israel, because it is a proxy mercenary force of paid thugs who have gone into Syria to destroy that country so that Israel can then weaken and isolate another one of its rivals. That was Syria's Assad, who is allied to Iran, which the Israeli criminal psychopaths like Netanyahu have been plotting the downfall of since at least the false flag attacks of 9/11 and before that. So Yiannopoulos is here to misdirect our attention towards phantoms and boogeymen that the Zionist controllers have created, and put the attention on them, put the focus on them, stir up controversies constantly about them, play up this West Islamic confrontation, which is a Zionist policy of divide and conquer. They want us in the West to fight their enemies for them in the Middle East, and Yiannopoulos is pushing that narrative hardcore. He's a liar. He is a Zionist fraud. He's a scumbag.